right, how's it going, everybody? I'm Joseph from College Beat Television over at Cal State Long Beach. So today I'm here with the cinematographer and one of the directors for Actor Martinez. So why don't you guys just give us a little bit of background of where you guys come from, what you guys have done, and then we'll go on from there.
Sure, I'm Nathan Silver, and I am a co-director and co-writer on the film. I'm from New York.
I'm Adam J. Minnick, Director of Photography for Actor Martinez. I live in Austin, and I've worked with this guy a couple times.
Awesome. Okay, so we have New York and Austin, Texas coming together. All right, so actually, why don't we just talk about that real quick? So how did the team get built together, and then what was the process like of writing the script and then, putting it into production?
So it all came together at the Denver Film Festival. Basically, it's about Arthur Martinez, who is a volunteer driver at the Denver Film Festival, and he actually approached Mike Ott, the other director, and said that he wanted Mike to direct him in a film. Mike said that he'd only do that if I came on board as the other director, and during the week of the film festival, somehow we convinced the Denver Film Society to come on board and produce it, and it's about Arthur's life, trying to make a movie with Arthur and the frustrations therein. We then bring in we find that his life lacks interest. He's a computer repairman as well. That's how he makes a buck, because he can't make money off of acting. So we bring in a love interest, and we hold auditions, and eventually fly someone in from LA, and yeah.
Okay, so once the whole idea was finalized and you guys had a good script, what was the process like of actually trying to get that into production, and then also kind of talk about funding, because I know funding is a big issue for independent productions.
Well, it was all of the funding came from Denver. It was because of our producers there. Basically, it was over the course of a week at the film festival that the whole movie came together.
Oh.
And through drunken nights at the late night lounge at the Denver Film Festival.
Okay, cool.
So it's really a festival film.
It's a festival film that is at film festivals.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
About acting.
So, were there, any challenges? Did you guys know each other before the production?
Nathan and I met for 3 minutes at a screening of another film I shot before, but that's it. So when I landed, I had never met Mike and never had really hung out with Nathan, so we hit the ground running like a week before we started shooting. So, and you actually mentioned the script earlier. There was no script either, so it was really just what I got from these guys was a 4-page outline, and that's kind of what we went with. And from there, we kind of created as we went.
So if it was kind of like spontaneous, which is what I'm getting from this, were there any challenges of just kind of coming up with stuff on the spot, or what was that whole process like? Because as film students, we're kind of more familiar with the whole, let's get a full script going, let's make sure it's finalized, and then shoot. Were you guys just we have a good idea and let's just shoot and figure out stuff on the way, or what was?
Well, both Mike and I, the way we work with all of our movies, we use a lot of improvisation. We rely on the actors, their personalities to bring, to add to the story. So we're constantly revising as we go along. So we know that it's kind of pointless scripting the dialogue. We script a structure, And oddly enough, the structure of the movie resembles quite heavily the structure of the outline. It's a weird process. And the thing is, I don't remember how it actually. I don't remember the discussions we had. They're blocked from my mind at this point, but we would we'd talk to Adam about how we wanted to cover a certain scene, and we knew what we needed from it, and we would do take after take until we got it. So it's like you're writing on the spot.
Yeah, I was talking to you guys earlier, and you guys said you started circulating this in January?
Yeah, it premiered at Rotterdam Film Festival, and then had its U.S. premiere at Tribeca.
Okay, all right, and then now we're at AFI in November, so that's a full year. So when everything dies down, what's next for this film in particular? Is it going to be, is it Netflix, or is it going to be on Blu-ray, or how's it going to be distributed for the the public?
We'll get released in a few cities by Breaking Glass, and then hopefully it'll be on Netflix and iTunes and all of those fun places. Yeah.
All right. I think that's important to talk about too, because independent filmmakers, they use Vimeo and YouTube and stuff like that. So were you guys making this with the hopes of shooting high and getting into every theater nationwide, or was it just all right, we'll release it on wherever we can? Or
I think Mike and I know this was my sixth feature, and it's Mike's 5th or 6th feature. So we kind of understand the climate and understand what a movie like this can do, and the producers were well aware of this as well. You know that it's not going to be released nationwide. It's going to be released in a few cities, get good reviews, hopefully, and then land online. But that's the case with most movies, you know. I don't know what to expect from movies anymore. I mean, there's some, you know, I mean, in terms of like, you know, expecting them to really like be what everyone's talking about. I mean, 1 or 2 movies a year. That's the scenario for an independent film.
I mean, I think there's like a misconception that, you know, you can make a movie and then like make it big automatically. But I mean, there's gradual steps. I mean, do you think each film is about you closer to where you want to be, or are you already there, or what's next for you after this film? What's gonna?
Well, I've already shot 2 features.
Oh wow, okay.
So, and but has it brought me closer to where I want to be? You mean broke? And broken? I mean, yeah, it brings me closer to that, and also, but it brings me a lot of joy too. I surround myself with people I love. You know, I get to make movies, which is the whole purpose of it.
Yeah.
I don't. I would like to work on a bigger scale, but as the years go on and the more movies I make, the scale is going in a weird direction. I don't know what big is anymore. So directors don't make much money on these movies, you know. So to write and direct a movie, you make nothing, and you have to understand that.
What about cinematography? What's that like?
I mean, there's kind of a basic trajectory. I'm in a different situation than Nathan. I work with several directors within any given year. So I have, you know, I can work up to like 3 or maybe 2 or 3 features a year, as opposed to, I mean, you know, Nathan's kind of the exception. He did do 2 features this year, and I shot one of those, you know, and he did another one in France. But I mean, for the most part, like some of the other directors I work with, they do a film every 2 years, and so I skip around and do that. Now, if your question's about if it's getting, I don't know, better, or like if I'm getting closer to where I want to be, absolutely. I think every time I do a film, I'm learning from my past mistakes. When I see it on the screen, all I see are problems. You know, I mean, along with things I do like, and then I take that with me and move on to the next one, and hopefully apply it if it actually does apply to that story. Hopefully apply it to my next work.
Just, I think we're a little bit short on time, so I think just as like an ending note, maybe just kind of talk about what has pushed you, what's your drive, what encourages you to keep on making independent films, knowing that, you know, there could be a big Hollywood budget film that's over here, or, you know, there's other opportunities out there. Why, you know, what should be your drive as an independent filmmaker?
Because how many of those kinds of movies that you're talking about, how many of those are memorable or have any, I mean, especially now, this, you know, like this moment of pure insanity in the world. I mean, who the hell cares about making a blockbuster movie? I'd rather make something that at least reflects something of the insanity of the world, and, you know, bigger studios are not going to allow me to be insane. They basically scrub off insanity, and I think they've sanitized the world, and they've added to the, you know, the condition that we're in, helped make it happen, helped make it possible. So the only thing that gives me hope is the fact that we're allowed to make these films, that people, you know, put them in theaters, that people see bizarre objects out there. I mean, we see bizarre objects every day now. We see this bizarre tumor on the TV called Trump. And if we cannot make movies about these kinds of people, how can we understand them? And studios don't necessarily, I find that bigger movies don't actually portray, you know, anything of psychological substance, or like what makes a person a person. And we need to understand that now. We need to understand, you know, why people act in certain ways, why they do grotesque things, because that's of utmost importance if we're going to survive, because I fear for our psychological safety, if there is such a thing. Now, I mean, you know, I don't mean to sound bleak, but
I mean, I completely understand. Like, talking about, like, you know, artistic integrity or having a vision, I'm sure it'd be a lot easier on an independent project as opposed to a Hollywood project. So
yeah,
I can see that. What about yourself?
I mean, I'll echo what Nathan said. I mean, I love the collaboration. I mean, there's really no other art form other than maybe theater. There's, you know, where there's lighting technicians, and there's camera crews, and there's actors, and there's blocking, and there's directors, and it's such a collaborative effort. And I really feel like I thrive as an artist in that realm. I get to work with guys like Nathan, who have a true vision, and I get, you know, with guys like Nathan as well, and Mike Ott, and Joel Petrikis, and other people I work with, I get a lot of creative freedom, and I can really, bring to the table the image and do things that I feel like are important. Now, if we're on the leash of a studio, we don't get as much creative control, like Nathan said, and I think it's super important to me to be able to help tell stories, help tell the director's stories, put those images on the screen the way that we see fit, with no, red tape kind of stopping us. We can take risks and hopefully make good images and a good film.
Very true. All right. I think that is all the time I have for right now. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Nice talking to you guys.
Thank you.